Well, I was just reading through this comic book.
Were you reading a good story?
No.
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the Edge of Civility.
You're listening to The Mean Geek, episode 178.
Alright, so, House of the Dead 2, not on my zombie hit parade of movies.
Come on, man. No guts, no glory.
All Guts, No Glory was the title.
Oh, whatever.
Of course, come on. You didn't really think she'd sit there. I hate these things.
Dude, zombies are crafty in this, though.
They're a little smarter than usual, but that just makes the army dumber than usual.
Well, yeah, this army is way dumber.
Yeah. This is frustrating to watch sometimes. I mean, there are scenes that are like,
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
No flying in the air zombies like
You
fucking-
just had a handgun.
Yeah, where did Weapon go? Where does HK go? I hate
Oh,
this guy.
he dropped that, but you just had a handgun. You're dealing with the nerd zombie.
Yeah, where does
Why
Pistol
wouldn't you
go?
put this one down instead of just turning your back to pick up your gun?
He's an idiot. They're all idiots. I hate it. So we're a minute in, and we've established that we hate this fucking movie. So we should probably establish who we are.
Oh, okay.
This is the Mean Geek.
This is CNN.
Ba-dum. Yeah, so I'm Tech Jedi, Adrian Hunter, your host, and I don't have the most of anything right this week. It's craziness. This is Reverend Mad Duck, co-host and, quote, talent. How are you, Reverend?
Oh, Lord.
That bad a week, huh?
I love beer.
Well, maybe we can cure that talking comics.
Oh, yeah. No, because it's DC week, so that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah. So there's news on DC this week, actually.
Oh?
Yeah. Yesterday, they revealed Batgirl's new costume. Apparently, a leather jacket and a cape in purple is so amazing that people have already done fan art for it. It's been 36 hours. People are talking, oh, she's moving to a new neighborhood. That's going to be awesome. Really? You still don't get to be pals with her, motherfucker. Is it really going to be awesome? I don't know. Didn't she just have a book, though? What happened to her book?
Well, that was in a different dimension.
Batgirl?
Yeah, remember?
No.
The Huntress was Batgirl in another dimension.
What's
in
that
that
got to do
horrible
with the
Earth
regular
2
Batgirl book?
I'm just saying, she had to, Batgirl and Supergirl went off to another Earth 2 dimension and became Power Girl and Huntress.
Is that how it worked? What was happening in Batgirl's own book then?
That was a different Batgirl.
So, which one has the new costume?
I would
the
assume
one that stayed, right?
Yeah, I would assume because
then
the Earth 2 books died a.
So what does one have to do with the other? Schmuggy.
I'm just saying, you asked what she's been up to.
I don't find it. It's a neat enough costume. It's relatively trim and decent looking costume. It's simple for once, so that makes me happy. But people are losing their fucking minds about this, man. It's like, dude, it's a fucking costume. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding, dude? Do you remember when Power Girl lost the boob window? The ridiculous conversations that were going on about that?
Yeah, but people had been lobbying for that for a decade. I mean, that's not... They got what they wanted, so they had a right to be happy. This is just another costume. And it isn't all that fucking significantly different from the last one.
Yeah, but she's also moving to Burnside, Gotham's hip, Brooklyn-esque neighborhood for grad school and good fuck off. Are you kidding me?
You couldn't even finish reading that
Oh,
sentence.
God damn it. Just cut off a big slab of monkey steaks because stupid is the new cool, apparently.
Now, the other thing that happened just today
Oh, what's that?
is apparently Thor is going to be a woman.
I'm sorry, what?
Not Lady Thor, not Thor girl. Thor is
Thorina?
going to be female. No,
Why
not
is-
even going to change the name.
Really? Because Loki being female was so successful, they decided to switch it up and go the other way this time?
Well, a lot of people did like it. But there was a tiny indication that there would be yet another new number one as a result. Although it would still have Aaron on it. So I got hope that it would be good regardless. You know, it's obviously yet another ploy to get number one sales numbers. Ugh, it kills me sometimes. You know, I realized there have been, 6 volumes of Thor now? That's going to be 6, right?
That seems small, actually. I mean,
Well, there's 5, 6 of Captain America, right?
it's
There's
insane.
4, 5, 6 of Avengers. Spawn has 1 fucking volume.
Spawn's only up to, 200 and something, though, right?
Yeah,
You know, when it gets to 600, then you start seeing a bunch.
fucking Savage Dragon has 1 volume, 190 some odd issues. Don't feel the need to restart everything for more fucking figures there, do they?
Yeah, but bear in mind something. Batman restarted at 700?
Yeah, 7 something anyway. But still, that's 700. They redid the entire company to get that renumbering.
I understand that. The point I'm trying to make is buying issue number 1,347 of a book is a little bit weird when you break that down.
Which kind of weird?
I just, hey, let me go pick up issue, or, you can't even talk about them rationally when you're in the thousands.
Yeah, but there's no reason. Thor is still Thor. There's still going to be mythological craziness. There's still going to be Asgard. It's not like they're wiping out the entire everything and saying, this is now Thor, this is what Thor has always been, this is Thor forever. Because it sure as shit ain't going to be forever.
No, I mean, for God's sake, Spidey-Ock lasted for...
32 issues.
And then, of course, the previous one. But yeah, a decent amount of time. Shockingly long.
You know,
Thor
if
has
they wanna-
already been de-aged, lost his powers, been a Thunderstrike, been a different guy, had a red beard for a very weird short period of time.
They know this happens every time. They get big sales figures for number 1. It cuts in half for number 2. It cuts down another third for number 3. And then it levels back out again to where it was the last fucking volume.
Yep.
They know this cycle happens. So it's so incredibly artificial. And the industry creator and the fans are so incestuous. You're only ever going to get the same fucking Thor fans.
No, that's not true. You get a different group. I'm not arguing that it's a horrible thing, but you get a different group of dumb speculators every time. And we've all done that. If you read comics, you bought an extra number 1, or you bought a number 1 of a book you don't necessarily love because you're like, fuck, hey, it's a number 1. I'm right here. Let me grab this thing. We've all done it. And then you sit there. I remember buying NFL Super Pro number 1 and telling you about it, and you laughing your ass off at me.
Oh, their fat guy bought it.
Did he, or did they shoot? Yeah, nope.
Oh, maybe he did make it. It's hard to say. I don't see any blood coming from him yet. And there he goes.
There we go.
No, but somebody who reads Phantom Stranger, right?
Right. There has to be somebody.
There's got to be somebody. Are they going to stick with Iron Man and really keep their sales way up after number 3? No, they're going to go back to Phantom Stranger because that's what they did. You recirculated a couple of fans for a little while, and then everybody went right back to what they dug the first time around.
If you do something well enough and you restart it, okay, here, I'm counterpointing you because I don't entirely agree. I agree that the whole constantly redoing number 1s is annoying and stupid. However, and at this point, like, it's a known, like, it's, oh, they're just going to restart this again. Like, we just bought Spider-Man #1. Like, how many Spider-Man #1s are out there in existence? This is no longer a rare thing.
Yeah, it's getting irritating. But it's still
4
Peter
years
Parker.
ago, we talked about, well, not 4, but a couple years back, we had we started a podcast with a huge discussion about how Batman #1 used to be a rare thing.
Yeah.
There were very few Batman #1s, and now they're fucking, like, shitlets. Like, you know, you can buy 50 in a tiny plastic box. But if you start it with a really good team and concept, you will bring people in who will stay on. For example, Indestructible Hulk 1,
Yeah.
which we weren't reading Hulk
Yeah, we started and we stayed with it.
because it was a good book. So there's gonna be, if your team is solid. But then the other thing is, all these #1s, I don't trust any of these fucking teams are staying on anymore either. And that book didn't even make 30 issues.
Nope.
But you have to acknowledge the possibility that if they give it a really good team and it's worth reading, some of the speculators will stay on for more issues.
I'm not even worried about speculators. I've done my speculation. But
If you make a book solid enough, people will keep reading it. So if getting a #1 on there, but first off, most of these #1s are not like amazing teams. Like, we're like, oh my god, of course they
Yeah.
had to restart this for
Right.
this. You could have just had it the next storyline.
But the thing is, if your postulation there is accurate, then why do sales go down?
Well, because because there's more speculators than there are people who are reading comics. But sadly,
All right.
you do have to acknowledge the fact that some people will stay onto a book. The #1 has a positive in that sense. But it's a horrible plan because sooner or later things are going to settle back down.
Yeah.
Now, your point is that it happens immediately at 2. That's not always the case, but it happens often enough. Sometimes it's by 5 or 6. Like, how many times have you started a book, you're like, oh, okay, 1 was pretty good, I'm going to keep going. Or 1, I'm at least intrigued, I want to see the rest of the storyline.
Right.
You get to 6, you're like, fuck this fucking
Oh, tons of times. You know that.
Or by 7, it's like, oh, hey, new creative team, new arc. I'm sorry, what was that? Like, what are we on? Amazing X-Men 8?
Yeah.
And both
We're
Aaron
done.
McGinnis are off?
Yep.
Yeah, because they weren't draws. No.
Somebody always wants to do something different or more, so they'll leave. There's no more creative dedication anymore.
Well, there never has been. I mean, the number of people with long arcs versus number of short is legion. And there are a lot more comic creators than there are strong comic books these days. So, back in the day when you had Jerry Conway writing 7 books, stop Stan Lee from writing 40.
All too true. So what about this this last 2 months worth of DC and Vertigo?
All right, what do
that
you
we
got?
had to combine because we don't have enough for an actual episode.
Well, we've drawn them out in the past, but it is challenging.
Yes. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 issues of Batman Eternal.
Now, you dropped this after these, right?
Yeah, well, I ordered them before I could read them. So, in an effort to not be fucked, yes, I had to stop. I had to say, that's a limit. Let's see how that goes.
So, and now you're going
And
to
it
have to try
turns
and find
out
them.
it's a pretty fucking good Bat book.
Now, the downside, this is coming out weekly.
Yeah.
That's crappy.
Yeah.
Second issue, this is incredibly convoluted.
It is.
They
Holy
are trying
shit,
to
there's so
weave
much
in
stuff going on
so
in
much. The Batman mythos is so large at this point, it's literally collapsing in on itself.
here. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. There's an issue in here where I have to read a crossover between Batwing and Jim Corrigan.
Now,
Fuck
who
you
would
for
ever
that.
have suspected that would occur?
Even Brave and the Bold would be like, no, we can't do that. No, I'm sorry. Marvel 2-in-1 would be like, no. No.
Now, Barbara is extra super pissy because Jim actually got arraigned. And of course they're going to arraign him because he came out and said, yes, I pulled the trigger.
Because he did. He shot a guy.
Yeah, he did.
And the gun is not there. Jim is logically like, this is so within character for Jim Gordon. Like, oh, there's no gun. Then you have to arrest me.
Yep. So she tears shit up until Bruce comes around and says, wait a minute, kiddo. You need to calm down. And he can't calm her down. He just fails utterly at calming her down.
Like,
so, it's terrible, man.
and you know what? Like, they just had a whole storyline where Bruce went too far and the whole Batman family fractured. And now you have Batman here, like, you're punching those people too hard. You should calm down. I'm sorry, Petal.
Excuse me?
You can take your kettle ass and pot the fuck out of here, because no.
Kettle ass and pot the fuck out of here. That's terrible.
Then why did you laugh?
Tim starts trying to figure things out because he's the one we can rely on to actually do a little detectiving shit. So he starts investigating, and he finds, I don't know, fucking nanobots. Yeah. Oh, yes, he found nanobots.
Yep. What they think is children's virus from Professor Pig is actually nanobots that Pig kidnapping people started them off too soon. Including the new girl, what's her dumb super name again? Starling or Lightning Bug
That's
or
it. Starling.
Weevil or something.
Starling. Fly. Starling. Get it? Is that enough of a hitch for you to latch on to? Anyway.
Probably not.
Yeah, whatever. Vicky Vale bitches about interns and
then takes her intern. Now, is her intern? There's a weird kind of gay subtext.
It wasn't totally clear to me. It was so vague that I didn't even give a shit.
Well, I was like, because Starling's brother is.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said, like, I'll come help you make tea, which is fine. Like, I'm not at all concerned about a gay relationship. I just thought the 4 seconds, like, hey, and then Robin shows up. I've got a picture of you on my wall. I'm like, are you really doing this? Like, do you understand writing and subtlety and not being a giant dick? Like, what the fuck?
It is an odd bit of a scene, man. Apparently, Cullen is a tech stud and shit. Tech STD. Oh no! Cullen has a tech STD, which frightens the fuck out of me. Just the phrase that they wrote down, tech STD. I was like, eat my ass.
Well, that's because you probably have one.
No,
7?
only had biological ones.
Horrifying.
None of this tech shit.
Anyway.
Batwing and Bruce team up and they find this weapons warehouse with holy fucks, Gentleman Ghost.
Yeah, who's like creepy and spooky and weird.
Yeah, who used to be a pretty goofy, fun time villain you could
For
rely
Flash,
on.
primarily, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching Brave and the Bold and Gentleman Ghost was all over the motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, are we really taking from Brave and the Bold?
I mean, he's shown up in Detective a couple of
Oh,
times.
has he? Okay.
Make no mistake. But primarily, he's not a Bat villain.
Apparently he is now.
But it was... And, yeah, they turned him into this.
And then you need Nth Metal to defeat him?
To do what?
I don't know. Batwing, sometimes there's magic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Batman, for that helpful. Like, did you read Nth Metal and all I could think of was Nth Man, the last ninja? Like,
that always pops into my head and it drives me up the fucking wall. Thank you, Larry Hama, and your giant blonde ninja fuck.
There you go. There's a little number one speculating in your past. You owned an Nth Man number one.
I totally did. I had like 5 of them. Which is not nearly as bad as the 17 Silver Surfers I stole. Come on, it was great.
That's true.
It was terrible.
Horrifying.
The hot pink cover. Jesus Christ. For some bizarre reason, and this drives me up the wall, because bizarre for bizarre's sake is just like, go fuck yourself. Professor Pig starts ranting about fucking cheese sauces. What is that all about? Cheese sauces? Are you kidding me? I don't want to know anything about cheese sauces. Catwoman confronts Penguin about lost people. It was like street people.
Yeah, the underworld. Remember that one random issue of Catwoman we tried to read?
Yeah.
That we hated?
Where she like now is like queen of the DC Morlocks or whatever the fuck they are. Commissioner Forbes actually lets Pig go because he's a giant moron.
It's like, I'm sorry, we don't work with vigilantes, so take this wanted psycho pig mask wearing fugitive and his freaky doll people and let them loose back in the world because I don't like my job.
Now, maybe it's me, but I'm thinking in a more real world. The mayor and maybe some state senators and somebody higher up in charge than the police commissioner would say, you have failed your job.
Yeah, you know what? Fear of Falcone.
It's so criminally negligent. We should execute you just right now. Because 5 people died because Pig got let go because of you. That's what I think.
Hey, you never mess with Falcone.
Oh, Falcone tries to recover dough from Penguin's casino at the bottom of Gotham Harbor, which is pretty ballsy.
Well, that's where he sent it there. So.
Yeah. He blew up the whole casino and he said, you know what, we'll just get the dough later.
Did you enjoy...
That's how ballsy
Did you enjoy Penguin's lackey Fishnet?
Not particularly. It kind of creeped me out a little bit, and that name is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Fishnet. Stop.
It says a lot about the way they're writing Catwoman, though, that you have a line like, you're a Miss Lark associate, has a pretty good body, but she's no Catwoman.
I didn't even remember that line, okay? Don't remind me of things like that, man. Cluemaster and his wife actually try to put a hit on fucking their own daughter.
Ex-wife,
whatever. Their own daughter.
Just to make it more complicated.
Their own daughter.
Well, I think it's nice when a couple that's broken up actually raises their kid the same way.
Or decides to take her down the same way.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Sure, your dad's trying to kill you, and normally I wouldn't agree with that. But if we parent differently, then you're never going to learn anything.
Eventually, Bats decides that his next most important step is to go to Hong Kong. And that's where we leave off.
What?
Yeah, that's Hong Kong, right?
Oh, dear God.
He went to Hong Kong. Well, I mean, that's issue 8. That's all we had.
There's some big confusion.
So that's 5 issues of Batman Eternal, kids.
It is a pretty good read. Like, I mean, the way we're describing it, there's a lot of flaws, but...
Yeah, but it's more fun to talk about the flaws.
It is pretty compelling stuff. It moves very quickly. It is the strongest Bat book currently out.
Which is such a bizarre thing to say. You'd think the flagship title would be that. And to be honest, they are written by the same fucking guy, so why isn't the flagship Batman as strong as this?
Because the flagship Batman is trapped in the middle of fucking Year Zero.
Yeah, Year Zero. God damn it, stop it.
How many times can Batman fuck up on a single adventure?
I don't know. How many issues were in that?
Like every time I'm reading this, I'm like, I'm sorry, did you blow it again?
Yeah, pretty much.
But we'll get to Batman.
Eventually. What we got next, however, is Sinestro 2 and 3.
First off, big time pet peeve here.
Yeah?
Stop giving me short books. And I actually bought these. Like, I got my own copy of Sinestro, so I can say this. Like, this is costing me money. Stop giving me short books so I can have a 5-page Superman retread.
Oh, that. Yeah, stop that. Between previews and the fucking 52 News or whatever the fuck that thing is, 52 View, stop. I don't want to pay for that shit. And if that shit comes in the fucking digital edition, I won't be buying anything by these fucks anymore.
And the thing that's killing me is, like, Sinestro is a great book. Like, I'm
It
really
really
enjoying
is.
this. It's like, why am I getting less pages so I can read the exact same clip from the exact same Superman issue in 2 and 3? Like, 1, annoying but fine. Like, you got Romita.
Did you mean JR?
It's more fun my way.
No, big peeve. Big peeve.
But having said that,
It's our dough, man. It's our fucking dough.
But Sinestro retakes control of the Yellow Lanterns at about 4.2 seconds. Like, Arkillo gets his ass kicked more than any creepy horror villain ever.
He is way too big and scary to be getting his ass handed to him so fucking often.
I mean, it's awesome when Sinestro does it, but everybody, like, Arkillo, like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, anyone who isn't Arkillo kicks Arkillo's ass.
Apparently, he's the Yellow Lantern because he fucked up a lot of kittens on his home planet.
Kittens are easy to frighten.
Yeah,
you know, it's like going out into the woods and killing boars. Yes, you've killed thousands of them and you got the XP for it, but they're boars.
Arkillo, you have shown the ability to cause great fear in kittens.
There's this huge fight. It was nice to look at, you know.
The art is very strong. They have Cullen Bunn has a great feel for Sinestro.
They eventually want to go to the planet Necropolis. Oh, gee, because I haven't heard that fucking name before.
Not 30 or 40 times.
To create Korrigar 2.
Sinestro
The
is
sequel.
I love that he's got like 8 plans going on. You know, he picks out some psycho fucking Yellow Lanterns to take out the more separate types. Meanwhile, these guys are dangerous, so he's keeping an eye on them.
Right.
He's got Lyssa Dark watching them while he doesn't even trust her, so he's watching her while she's watching them.
Yeah.
He's cultivating his own daughter back into his life by using his people who he's capturing anyway, who pretty much hate him but need him because apparently if you're not on Korrigar, you can't do shit in the world without turning into a prisoner of somebody.
Pretty much.
I get to see one Korrigarian. Korrigard?
Korrigarian.
All right, I got that right the first time.
Personally, I think Korrigaran myself.
But-
But it's always written Ian.
These
so
people
whatever.
are basically space Muppets, man. Like, you put them out into the world, it's like, ah! Like, waving floppy arms around and bug eyes. Not being able to do shit. Like, apparently the one thing they bring to the world is Sinestro and, you know, is there any use for pink skin? Like, talcum powder? Like, what the fuck do they probably produce? Like,
You got me, man. Maybe just red chicks are hot? I don't know.
you know what? All right, fine. Because consistently, yes. Well played, Korrigar. Yes, we're inept, but we have Sinestro and a ridiculously large amount of hot women.
Now,
We're the pink pleasure planet Korrigar.
Ew. That's terrible, man. Now, the Fear Corps moves into their world. Sinestro gives Saranic a battery for her own ring, which she needed really badly.
You have to love the moment where she's like, wait a minute, how do you get a Green Lantern? No one died. Fuck you. Like, that's some father-daughter dialogue you don't get every day. How did you get a Green Lantern ring? Well,
It's
I
fine.
borrowed it. Leave it alone.
They have some pointed conversations about what Sinestro did to Korrigar, why some surviving Korrigarians wouldn't really be happy with him coming back after all the fallout. But they're pretty important conversations. They're like, you know, you were subjugating us like mad before the planet died, right?
And you have to love the fact that, and Cullen Bunn gets this, Sinestro's like, wait, why don't you like me? I took over the entire planet. You all did what I told you. The planet blew up, but I was looking out for you. Like, why don't you see how logical and awesome I am? And meanwhile, they're like, you're the worst thing ever. For God's sake, the pink plague, porcupine, whatever P word I can throw in there. Was like, you've killed more people than the pink plague, sir.
The pink plague. Was there a pink plague?
I assume it's Korrigar. Everything's pink.
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right, I'm going to go beer it up.
Yeah, beer it up.
need
We'll
one?
be right back. So I see this movie is taking a Walking Dead cue and covering themselves up with zombie blood.
That makes no sense.
No, it really doesn't.
I mean, I get the smell thing to a degree, but like every zombie movie, you're eventually covered in zombie gore.
Yeah. And they always find
Or
your
you're
ass
eaten.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible. Are we done with Sinestro?
You mean giving the book up? Or
No. These two issues. Talking about them.
Yeah, we'll totally move on. What do you got next?
All right, well, we have the unfortunate Secret Origins 2 and 3. Yeah, this is not as much fun as the Secret Origins series from the 80s. I was happy with that one. That was a lot of fun. That told you things you needed to know. And these ones are just barely different takes on anything. So, in 2, we got a pretty standard Batman one, although the Aquaman one is pretty good.
Yeah, I did like the Aquaman one. I'll give you that. I
The
thought that
Aquaman
was
one I
well
enjoyed.
done.
There was a little more character than they normally give Arthur in most circumstances.
Well, first off, 3 is simply too many. Like, first
Yeah.
off, stop doing characters that everyone knows.
Right.
And they even say at the beginning of the Batman one, you already know this story.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well,
Duh.
yay, then let me just fucking plunk down my $4 to reread this. The Aquaman one was well done, but the main factor is, and this is what Secret Origins used to do so well, is I don't know as much about Aquaman's origin.
Right. I know virtually Zippo. Because hadn't they redone it like 3 times anyway?
Maybe I don't like Aquaman, so, to paraphrase fucking Big Bang Theory, Aquaman sucks.
Okay.
But so that was well done. Although even there's not there was more depth to that. Then that's followed by what was the third? Is this the Starfire one?
Yes.
That was horrible.
I didn't even finish it. I was bored to fucking tears about it.
The main reason that was horrible, though,
It's
is
like, are you really going to give me an excuse for her dressing like that? Is that what you're going to do?
it's not even about that.
I
though.
was so worried about that. That's the biggest reason I didn't finish it. I was like, they're going to try to justify this horse shit, aren't they?
Here's my problem with it, though. Now, this is written by Scott Lobdell, so I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm clubbing the seal I always club, so to speak. And I want to make this clear. The major problem I have with this, I don't know that I can blame him for. You're reading, and I want you. I know you didn't finish it, but think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Starfire is currently a member of what book?
Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Okay. Now, you bought the first
I had
one.
to think about that shit.
You bought the first one, I might say so. I actually own it. I kept it as a reminder never to listen to myself again. And in that, she was a sex-crazed, uber warrior, giant bitch.
Yes, pretty much.
This is a secret origin
Uh-huh.
for Corey from Wolfman and Perez's.
Oh, it sure was.
Like, this has
What
nothing
little I
to do
got
with the
through,
New 52.
there was not going to it wasn't going to show us any kind of transition from this to
to that.
to Sex Girl.
So, and this is the inherent problem with the 52 is the people who are writing these things don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
The logic from one to the other is so toast. Now, if you are more interested in the Wolfman and Perez character than the current one that you yourself actually write, if memory serves, I have no problem with that, because so am I. But for fuck's sake, don't write the goddamn book then.
It's true, man. It's so bad.
So that really took me out. Like, the Secret Origins, I'm already tired of reading the major ones of characters that I'm more than familiar with.
Right.
3 then goes on to do Red Robin.
Yeah, which is still not precisely innovative. Not for GL, not for Batwoman, nor for Red Robin. I mean, it's all so condensed. It's like Cliff Note origins, so
Yeah.
not so much as Secret Note origin.
3 is simply too many. Although I will say they had a good take on Red Robin. They handled that well in that they dealt with the New 52 timeline.
Yeah.
They had him finding Batman first, and then there were some very strong logic points to that one.
Right.
I did not care because it's still Red Robin.
Right.
But
no, it's still Tim Drake, and that made me want to like it because I've always thought Tim Drake was a pretty good character. But didn't they change some weird shit in here for him?
oh yeah, he's an acrobat, and then his parents are attacked by the mob that he.
That's the regular Robin origin.
Yeah, you see him on the rings in high school.
Ah, yeah.
But yes, his parents are both alive, not one dad in a wheelchair. Like,
Oh, and he's a little bit of a hacker guy pulling fucking ATM
Yeah.
jobs. It's
But,
like, I don't know if that's the Tim
I mean, there's a
want.
solid investigation quality. Then this was the strongest of the 3, because then you have the Batwoman one,
Yeah.
which is was a very strong book, and is not a character too many people are overly familiar with.
No, because she is relatively new.
So I enjoyed that. What was the third one in that one again?
That was GL.
And that was the most painfully basic, like the 2-page introductions to new GL books as a better, like that was just no thank you. So I don't care about Secret Origins. I feel like you could have done something interesting and you chose not to. You're just rehashing the stories of characters that you just restarted all their books and rehashed their fucking stories.
Yeah. And it's I guess it's not a bad idea for people who haven't been reading comics for a long time, because supposedly they have a whole lot of wonderful new readers who are hype on DC, and apparently they're all doing digital and staying at home because I ain't seeing them at the cons, and I ain't talking to them on Twitter. So
maybe maybe DC is where the kids are going. I don't know. What I will say is,
I find it likely.
If you were gonna do this, particularly since many of the new books didn't have solid origins, like, oh, let's dive right into Superman.
Right.
Then do it well and be clear that it's for the 52. Like, this is just, what they did with Robin and Batwoman were well done.
Yeah.
I mean, Batwoman was easy because they hadn't changed a goddamn thing, because the character's been around for 8 weeks.
Yes. All too true. Now, let's get that Batman we've been avoiding.
Which one?
31 and 32.
0 year.
Which still ain't fucking done yet. Oh my God in heaven. So
the Bat Warrior.
31, I don't even care about. It wasn't particularly tense. It wasn't particularly clever. And fuck, it still isn't fucking over. Also, 0 wind resistance is impossible. Thanks again, Professor Snyder. No, I made a remark on Twitter the other day. It was talking about schools of science, and I was trying to draw a comparison between slot science and Snyder science. And both of them fail miserably if you bring in Bill Nye, the fucking science guy, while you're at it. So, 0 wind resistance is impossible. If wind's touching it, that's resistance. If it's in atmosphere, there's wind resistance. So go fuck yourself. You have to be in a vacuum for 0 wind resistance. You gotta not do this shit, man. So yeah, that tells you nothing about the plot, though, because I didn't care.
No, this whole, like, Gotham is destroyed, the Riddler's ruling the world.
Yeah.
And you've got Gordon, Fox, and Batman, some secret underground force. Although somehow Gordon finds a new group of mercenaries to go underground with him at the start of 32, which I didn't remotely understand.
A la fucking Batman Rises.
SEAL Team 7 suddenly shows up after the last one got slaughtered in 8 seconds.
So bad.
But Riddler's asking his questions, and Batman is still, like, I get that he's young, but, couldn't he just get his butt whipped and, like...
And smarten up? Does it have to take 18 issues for him to start cracking on that brain of his?
You know what I did appreciate? The 52 has done better than pretty much any other Batman.
Yeah?
Is the letter he writes to Alfred, where at the end he says, I love you.
Yeah.
The acknowledgement of Alfred as the parental father figure has been better done in the 52 than almost any other Batman series.
That's true.
At least in the last 30 years.
I don't know about 30.
Back in the 70s, they had a much clear, like, when would you...
Well, I mean, because your 30 years is still only the mid-'80s.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, would you go longer than that?
No. I thought there was some pretty decent stuff Rucka did in the early part of the 2000s.
You're the bigger Batman scholar, so I'll give you that. But in general, like, the new 52, like, the one thing they've done is really delineate the role that Alfred plays in Batman's day-to-day sanity. Not his existence. Not his, here's your finger sandwiches, Mr. Batman, sir.
All right, I can see that. Yeah.
So, of all the things to get credit for, like, the deep emotional relationship between them, that's impressive.
Yeah,
holy shit, douchebag lived to the end.
I don't like that idea. So, 32 it still isn't over, but Bruce figures out somehow, and I couldn't follow it, I'm not going to lie, I couldn't follow how he decided he was in the Sphinx. Now, it makes sense if you think about it, but all he had to do was wait, there's a fucking Sphinx in Gotham City, that's where the fucking guy is. But instead, there was multi-page... Oh shit, there's the microphone.
Prank caller.
Excuse me, kids, I kind of yanked the mic out there. Where was I? Oh yeah, there's this multi-page convoluted line of horse shit to make the most obvious connection fucking ever.
Well, Batman doesn't figure it out because it's a Sphinx. He figures it out because that would be Batman 66. Well, obviously he's hiding in the Sphinx. Jeepers, Batman, how'd you figure that out? Because he likes things that talk about riddles, dumbass.
Which should have been any Batman, really. It shouldn't have been reserved for 66.
Jeepers, Batman, where's Egghead gonna strike next? I don't know.
Fucking chicken farm.
How many places involve eggs in the immediate fucking area there, stupid boy? But, no, there's some sort of game that he was able to place. This is the piece that's missing. All these other riddle points come up. Building the board, like, apparently it makes it Parcheesi boards or some stupid ass shit.
Parcheesi boards. I don't know what that was about.
I did you have to give credit where Batman kind of asks a riddle about, and nails Riddler, and then Riddler's like, oh, you're obviously an ex-veteran, and Batman's like, no, you know nothing about me.
A lot of people pull out crazy things about Batman. Like, I think he was this because of this. No, man, he's just a broody little kid who got pissy and has had enough of crime. It's more basic than you could ever hope to imagine, pal.
He's a spoiled rich guy who had one very bad experience and had the money to turn that into a lifelong crusade against everything ever. Basically, he figured out that I can be intense and brooding and do all sorts of insane shit, and as a cover, still drink heavily and fuck supermodels. It's like the perfect crime. And no one gives him a hard time. It's like, oh, Bruce, you're a little late for a JLA meeting. You hooking up with Kate Upton again? Well, it's my cover.
I have to keep my identity secret.
What am I to do, Clark? Son of the bitch.
It's a big Batman month. We still got Detective 31 and 32. Icarus, Part 2 and 3.
Now,
Drug Icarus is back on the streets, and Bullock thinks Bruce used it to accidentally kill a party girl. Because Bullock is a giant ass.
Hey, you know what? If you look like Bullock, any chance you had to try and bust Bruce Wayne, you'd be all about. Fuck that. If you and I were cops and first we'd be dead in 13.2 seconds. I'd be sitting somewhere in an underground lair with a fucking chapeau strapped to my head. You'd have a pig mask on, and we'd both be fucked 7 ways to Sunday. But, all right, if it's like, oh, hey, there's a dead hot chick on Bruce Wayne's property. Oh, I'm busting that fucking snide ass. Did you see him with Kate Upton? Screw that dude.
You're on a Kate Upton tear tonight.
Who is it? Okay.
That's actually does some investigating this time, though.
No, you know what? The interesting thing is still a little early, but Manipul, I did not enjoy the Flash that we started. Was he on it from the very beginning? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't loving that, and I particularly hated the first villain. But this Icarus thing, although very slow, and the horrible sumo guy...
Yeah, who was he? What was that about?
Was bad. But there's real investigation and a moving plot. Like, you've got Bullock after Icarus because he fought it before and thought he stopped it.
Right.
With his partner out of left field. And then Batman breaks out a fucking narc disguise.
Which disappoints me, because if he's going to be in disguise...
Matches Malone.
Goddamn right. Not exactly lighthearted, but give me a little pay-on to the old series.
But they did.
Where?
You're not thinking.
About?
Batman Year One, veteran-looking guy with a huge scar on his face.
Yeah. You're right. You are correct. But he gets shot anyway, so whatever.
By Alfred. It's like, yes, I had a vest on, Alfred, but that shit still is quite painful.
And then at the funeral, fucking Bullock pulls out some of this working class hero horse shit that I hate so much.
And then you had the horrible Batman speech to the young girl about
that was a terrible
focus on
speech, wasn't it?
Well, you know, I mean, the pretentious Batman is gone the way of the 70s. You have to walk away. Batman is I mean, maybe in the new 52 he is, but I feel like we have given up on Batman, the role model. Like,
maybe.
It's Batman for the last 20 years has been Batman like, oh, that sucks. Deal with it. That's what I do.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, oh...
that's a good way to put it. That's absolutely accurate. Which, now that I'm thinking about it more directly and more explicitly, is really disappointing.
Yeah, well, you kind of like the Batman role model. Like the intent guy who, like, dedicates himself to a role and teaches others to do the same thing. So, like, there's always been that loss of that.
Wait, where did I just put the detective? Where's 32?
Right after 31.
Stop.
Hi, kids. This is Dr. T.O. Morrow with your comic science moment. Numbers go in order. This has been Dr. T.O. Morrow with your comic science moment.
God, I hate you.
But you love Dr. T.O. Morrow.
It's back this way. Now, the thing is, Bullock first is the jealous fat guy, and then he's the I'm mad because I need to bust these guys again, and then he's the working class hero, and now we see the softer side of Bullock with 6 fucking pages of dozens of cats.
Oh, did not like that.
Dick.
Did not like that at all.
Don't care.
I did like his mom calling him to point out, oh, I saw your prom date. And she just had triplets, but she still looks good. Like, that's Bullock. Like, it's like, oh, the life you could have had that didn't suck but didn't. Like, I'm your mother reminding you of this. I was fine with that. Like, that screams Harvey Bullock to me. His mom actually, making a phone call that would ruin anyone's day. Oh, by the way, my fat slob of a son, you should know that the cute girl you took to prom just had triplets and still looks like a supermodel. Well played.
It's terrible.
Enjoy another donut. But him sitting there with Mr. Wigglesworth and Fluffykins needs shots. Harvey, no.
He does do his best to comfort the Icarus survivor, Annette, which, I guess, he's a cop. He's there to serve. There shouldn't be any reason he wouldn't do that, even though he's a giant douche who loves way too many cats. But there's a great page where Bats jumps off the side of the church, which I dug the fuck out of that page. That was a fuck of a page.
Oh, the art is very strong.
Bucalato's got it going on there. But we finish up. We finish up with him fighting a giant fucking squid.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then, it's their brother? Like, they're no, they're not betting. He's betting on Batman. I get it. It took me a second. But I'm for a second, the way the dialogue was reading is I thought the squid was related to the family, and then I realized that the brother he was betting against was the guy who was counting on the squid to eat Batman.
Yeah, it threw me off the first time, too.
All I could think about was James Bond and Octopussy. I'm like, really? Like, no.
Do I need this crap?
Last time you had a giant aquatic mammal, it was a whale in the middle of a bank, and the villain ended up being a chick with a giant hole in her head. Like,
ugh. Goddamn Morrison. We're almost finished. I guess we're... Oh, finally. We're finished with the actual DCs, and we'll do some Vertigos now. We'll begin with the magnificent Astro City.
I do love Astro City. This was not my favorite.
This one was very strange. The ancient god of dancing and playing around and having awesomeness has returned to make everyone in the city nice, everyone in the city bang, and just have a good day.
Random banging is sweet and all. I do like Astro City a lot. What I really... Okay, positives. I loved the change in art style between the Norm and the God.
Right.
I love the fact that it played into the Hangman's Orden.
Right.
That he has some sort of, historical relationship with this God. And I also love the fact, I want to point out from the letters page, those who read those, there's been some debate as to whether or not they should tell the story of the Hanged Man's origin, and you should absolutely not do that.
It's difficult. I think we should have a couple more stories with him in it. It's probably best to leave his origin alone.
You know, things like this where you hint at possible
yeah.
is
no,
awesome.
that stuff's fine.
But you know what? He is a great character, as are many of the characters in this book. And then
I mean, he's almost criminally underused compared to the others.
And then they play with some interesting relationship things. Like you have a criminal pretending to be a Southern guy who's actually from Maine, fall in love with a bank teller, and they run off together, and it works out. And then you have unlike the weirdness that was all over Batman Eternal, a solid, healthy gay relationship.
Yeah.
So there were some cool things in the book, but it was not my favorite issue by far.
Yeah. No,
And-
I'm with you on that. That makes sense.
I'm hoping that the next one is strong, because after the Doctor Strange ripoff one and the weird criminal costume guy one, like, you know, they've done a couple almost filler issues that I need a swing and dunk in the next one.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, it's high quality regardless. It's just
absolutely.
When we say it's less than before, it's always in comparison to other Astro City stories.
It's so well above most of the other books that are happening on any given point
yes.
that you're not going to hear me say, "Ooh, bad Astro City."
That-
Again, like that
When
one I
would
paid
that-
for. Like, you know.
I mean, when would that happen? Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
The
bad
worst Astro City is...
is better than the best.
Can you name one that you're like, oh, I'll probably never read that? Like, it doesn't exist. I remember thinking that the Steel Jacket storyline was taking a long-ass time.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
about my only ever complaint with Astro City.
Yep.
It's like, wow, okay, you've really been pushing this story for a while.
There was the Barbie one, the doll that was brought to life, which you haven't read yet because I haven't given you that trade yet.
No.
That one was less than ideal, but it's still, again, it's still head and shoulders above a lot of fucking other books.
I mean, you know, just anytime, just
These scores are all relative
anybody
to
who has
the
a
series.
question about Astro City just needs to go read where the criminal starts robbing banks just to prove that he can still do it,
Yeah.
or where the cartoon tiger comes to life. If you don't know what I'm talking about, do some research. Astro City is amazing.
Yep. Now, less amazing, but still pretty good, is American Vampire 2.
This, I've really been enjoying the turn to American Vampire.
Yep.
And you gotta give them credit. Like, the girl vampire got bitten by the tongue and turns into a giant mouth fucking...
Ew.
And then gets choked by her own tongue before she tells key factors.
Which was kind of bizarre.
Like, pretty goddamn gross.
Yeah.
Skinner Sweet re-shows up, and he and Pearl...
He saves the day.
Sort of. Pearl also, like, once again, Pearl accomplishes something, Skinner accomplishes something. Neither of them is willing to acknowledge that the other is in any way useful. You have to assume they're going to get together or kill each other. Like,
Right. And she gets confronted by something that's disguising itself as her husband, who has
And-
been gone for some time at this point. Which is like, oh, I don't know about this, man. What are you going to do? But Pearl knows. I mean, come on. She's smart enough to figure that
There's
out.
some
That's not her
dark
fucking
foobar
husband.
shit going on here.
Some dark foobar shit.
But it's a great book. Like, as much as I don't always love Snyder on Batman, I love American Vampire so much.
It's crazy. That is the book for him. The Wake is tough to follow and kind of just odd and out there.
No, yeah, let's go right into that because we have two of those.
You want to skip?
Might as well. We just brought it up.
All right.
It's other.
Okay, so yeah, that leaves us with 8 and 9 of 10. The semi-ultimate and the penultimate.
You know, like,
So let me go find 8. 8, Leeward
is
I-
finds
I-
herself on a giant merman submarine with Captain Jackhole and the fucking Filthy Seven.
and she can't get them to believe about this signal she's been following for 3 issues.
Dude, doesn't that sound like a band that you would not listen to? Captain Jackhole and the Filthy Seven?
It totally is not a band I would listen to. That reminds me of Ass Jack.
I forgot about that.
Hated that band.
And yet you liked Hank Williams 3.
Well, he was better than Ass Jack, so fuck it.
There's his backup band.
Although I couldn't tell the difference at points. I was like, wait a minute, is that... fuck it. I'm gonna have
You
another
loved him,
beer.
and then when he left the stage and they started playing their own stuff, you're like, I'm going to go smoke till this is over.
Yep, pretty much. Back when I could smoke. Yeah, but they don't believe about the signal because nobody believes about the signal because she's a fucking lunatic.
Well, you have. They're sitting there and they're like, "Oh, here are robot signals that we send out. Oh, it's not those. Oh yeah, because you're a fucking credible source.
Yeah.
We just pulled you and your dumbass dolphin out of the middle of the goddamn ocean."
They say they can prove it's fake, but somehow it's real. And then Leeward's been tagged by the tracker, though, so it's hello, bad guys.
Dude, can I just point out that as far as trackers go, the one that's taped to her arm might be the they're like, here, Captain, look, let me pull up her sleeve. There's a tracker stuck to her arm.
No, I'd like you not to do that, please. What?
Are you kidding me? This you did not notice?
That was just too weird to be believed. I don't know what the fuck.
And
that was
like,
about.
why would you? They threw her. Do you think there's one on Pub that's currently sitting in like a merman's stomach? Like, you chuck the girl and her father figure into the water. He gets slaughtered because she's been awful. We assume because he.
Right.
But is there a tracker sitting in merman tummy number 207 floating around? Like, let's track everyone we chuck off the boat in case somebody picks them up.
Yeah, I mean, why are they tracking them to begin with?
Dude,
it throws me way off. I don't.
And
get
the
it.
sub that looks like a giant merman, like bah humbug.
That was a little much. That was a bit much. 9 makes just as little sense as 8 did, but now the signal is apparently real, but it's also a trap.
Yep.
Now, somewhere along the line, Einstein or Tesla or whatever the fuck the dolphin's name is, or fucking
Tessa.
Pseudo Babbage, some horse shit. He saves
Dr.
the day,
T.O.
but it's
Morrow, the dolphin.
so totally unclear how he did it. I have no idea how he did it. Did
Well,
you
you know-
follow how the fuck he saved the day?
You have to bear in mind that sometimes when you don't like something, like, you skim. It's like, I'm not following
No,
you,
I
and
couldn't-
I'm not going back to look.
When I-
And therein lies the problem.
When I finished it, I did look because I'm like, how the fuck did he do that? He didn't do anything. Let me look at these panels again. And I started back from the middle, and I tried to follow everything, and the explosions and the fucking Red Baron just randomly coming out in the sky.
I did enjoy that, actually. But then Leeward, the first mate in 6 months, and the entire crew still hates it. Like, all these people died, and all we found was a dead person who had a rock in the drawing they made of themselves crying. And then the captain dies because he gets caught between 2 rocks.
That's all? That's his big death scene?
Well, remember,
Come on.
you leave me behind. I got this guy for company, and he's a storyteller. And then Leeward, and then she drowns, sort of, and meets the scientist that we assumed was dead from the first storyline.
Right.
Oh man, you were gonna have to for this to not suck in one more issue would literally require magic.
See, because, okay, so what happens here is they're stuck. Their vehicle has been hit, and they're stuck on this snow slope. This
That they've been hunting for.
that they've been hunting for. So they're both sitting there going, how the fuck do we get out of here? Another explosion comes. They both go flying up into the air. She lands on top of him, and he becomes a fucking sled. A dolphin sled.
It's called dolphin surfing. Dolphin snow surfing.
It is so not called that at
It's
all.
an extreme sport.
It's not even.
Sean White has a video game coming in.
I hate you so much.
Sean White's dolphin snow surfing, available for the Wii. They have a tiny little plastic dolphin you can actually stand on.
Aren't they pretty much done with all those stupid peripherals?
I
yet?
have no idea. Dude.
I know, but I figured if you were going to act like it was real,
I'm going to call you on that because even though it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, my argument will be, doesn't the Wii stop making peripherals? Fuck off.
I didn't have anything else to counter with. What do you think?
Who's Sean White?
I barely know Sean White. It took like 4 years of his stupid commercials to find out that he was actually a fucking skater?
Yep.
Skater.
Snowboarder.
Snowboarder.
Not
What? He straps himself to planks and goes doing crazy things. Whatever the fuck. We're closing in, for fuck's sake.
Thank Jehovah.
You don't know nothing about no Jehovah.
Dude, I'm a reverend.
You're not that kind of reverend.
No, that's true.
Unwritten. Unwritten, 5 and 6.
Dude, I'm reading these and I'm still confused.
I'm so confused, man. So, Polly just wants to be a happy bunny.
Dude, that's all you have to say about that issue.
That's all he wants to do.
He sucks at it, but he really wants to go back to it.
He wants to go back to Willowbank, but Wilson allows him to change the human and then abandons him. So he's like, the fuck? He's like, DAF, you cute, motherfucker.
But there's this weird sequence where they walk. I mean, the problem is we missed some issues. So I'm like,
No, we didn't.
I have. You read that last graphic.
Well, the original series.
Yeah.
That doesn't really play in here all that much.
Because there's this weird sequence where they walk out of the earth, talking about Tommy being gone, and then the rabbit goes for Wilson, and Wilson leaves him lying in the dirt after he turns into Bruckner and gets knocked out by one of the 32 small children that speak French and apparently are all serial killers. That makes sense somehow in this fucking book. But then they cut back to the previous time where Bruckner tried to kill Wilson, beat him up, and walked into hell where he met the like, what is going on?
Oh, yes, you did miss the hell part.
See?
You know, the next time you come by the house, you can have the 2 trades that I got. And 10, the last one from the original series, still not out yet.
Bastards. Yeah, I am way behind on some stuff.
A little bit.
It's hell.
Yeah, totally confusing. But yeah, it's not as confusing. It won't clear up too much to know how they got to hell and how they got out. It really won't. So yeah, where did I leave off?
Hell.
No, Polly joins some weird army thing run by Rhea Hawkins, whoever the fuck that is. Is that a literary character? Do you know?
That name did not ring a bell. No, they talk
Author
about
maybe?
she was a school teacher.
Yeah, but she could have been a writer too. But the fact is that her imagination puts her in charge. So, he impresses her, right? So they fuck. But he eventually gets sick of the raiding lifestyle, and he kills her, and eventually Pullman, disguised as an owl.
Paulie has a weird quirk. He's never killed a child. It's not like he wouldn't have. It just never came up.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, she wants to take out him. Yeah, that's right.
So he finds this little kid, and he feels kind of bad for once. But she has her own weird quirk, is that she'll only have one of everything. And he's her current murderer. So he brings the kid, and he's like, she's like, what is he? Why would I keep him? I don't know, he's fucking blonde. Well, I have a blonde. So she sicks the kid in a fight to the death with a fucking blonde woman who beats the living piss out of a small child. And Paulie takes this badly and slaughters her 7 ways of Sunday. Then goes to join another force. Paulie Bruckner is the worst fucking Beatrix Potter character ever. Like, holy gods.
But he does eventually get back to being a rabbit in Willowbark thanks to Pullman.
Which is just not going to work out well.
No. He'll be back.
And Devil Pullman, talking about rodgering half wood people, like, ew.
There are things that I purposely skip over in the conversation. There are things that some people should just discover for their own damn selves.
No, you know what? You need to be protected from things like that. You should have no going in that Devil Pullman is also going in, and he's going to get splinters, and no one's going to be happy.
So eventually the group of good guys determine that they need MacGuffin number 2437. The Monin, whatever the fuck that is, a musical instrument of undetermined form.
Well, it's kind of Grail-like. It's been this, it's been that. Everything has been like 35 things.
This apparently has belonged to Gilgamesh, which everyone knows, first hero.
Yep. It's also been the Holy Grail.
Yeah, among other things.
Because it's kind of horn-shaped.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe. They find a need to travel through books to get it, which is the entire point of this fucking series.
It was,
So
but
there's
now
nothing-
it's gone beyond, because now the books are out and about. So Tommy needs to find Arthurian places.
Yes.
And he's like, fuck it, I'll just use the river, because all things are related to the ocean, so I
Right.
can just travel through the ocean.
Which kind of stretches it just the teeniest bit. Just a little bit. I mean, A stream is very different than Long Island Sound, man.
First off, if you need Long Island Sound to travel, you've got big problems. It's like, we're going to go stand on Long Island. No, I'm going to get eaten by vampires, man. You stand in that shit. That's
Which
filthier than
reminds
fucking
me-
frogs on crack.
At the end of it all, Ambrosio is back.
Dude.
And he's got the fangs to prove it. What?
The Devil Rats, and then Ambrosio writing, and then... I feel I literally need every graphic from this so I can just sit down and really keep going back. These are books that repay repeat readings.
Yes,
And
they totally do.
you need to look at these things closely. They are great books. Like, we pick on some aspects of things. It is fucking confusing. That's not a lie. Like, that's not me being mean. It's an awesome book. You should read it. Fucking pack a lunch. Like, take a day, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I can't work an extra shift. I've got this comic book to read. It's going to take me a good couple hours. What the fuck is wrong with you, Bob? No,
It really is.
Really, trust me. All right. When's the last time you read a fucking comic book with Baron Munchausen, Frankenstein's monster, and a mobbed up fucking bunny rabbit? There's your title.
That's awful long. I don't know if that'll fit. I mean,
Baron Munchausen, Frankenstein's monster, and a mobbed up bunny rabbit.
just so you know, kids, we are back on iTunes. Before
Oh, yeah,
I
really?
know I'll forget this. If we got one more book, but if I don't say it now, I'll forget it. I have worked out the weirdness on iTunes. iTunes is a bunch of assholes, however, and they made me change the title, so it's no just for iTunes. Just for iTunes. It's no longer just simply The Mean Geek.
What is it now?
It's now The Mean Geeks. They made me change one fucking character because their system isn't bright enough to go back and find something they had for 5 fucking years and reinstate it.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
We're the Mean Geeks.
But it is working again, so if you were using iTunes and had to stop and use another method, you can go back to it.
That's well, good to know. We'll have to make a point of announcing at the beginning of an episode.
Yeah, well, like I said, I forgot all about it because I hate iTunes and don't like talking about it. So why are you sniffing your arm?
No, I was sniffing and fake crying, and then I moved my arm.
Oh, I see. Ugh, creepiness. So the last thing we got
That was sniffing my arm.
is the supposed milestone issue of Superman, number 32. Where
Dude, it's got Titano in it. Okay, admittedly, it's only, you know.
That really set the hook in for you, didn't it?
First off, I love the Titano Burn annual, like To the Monkey Born or whatever the fuck they call that thing.
I don't remember.
To Tame a Titan
to
or
the
something.
Monkey Born. Is Jeff Johns and John Romita Jr. and Klaus Janson, and I don't know how you could ask for much better a team. It'd be very difficult, but there is a plot to it eventually. So we should talk about what actually happens rather than how many times we had to change our underwear when we saw JRJR.
You know, it is JRJR. It's fairly standard for him. Everything JRJR does looks basically good. Occasionally, he nails some shit to a higher level. The splash page of Superman punching a funky monkey's face off was above and beyond.
Bang!
But there weren't enough big moments in this book yet.
Not quite enough to really bring out his ability to go, BAM, motherfucker!
It does seem to be introducing a new and different superhero, supervillain from another dimension whose parents fired him off. I'm like, really?
Right, it's really just a Superman parallel character.
And I'm like, no, let's not start with that, but I don't get a vote, so...
So now, I'm trying to remember when, even in the New 52, maybe it was from issue 1, I don't know, Jimmy became a millionaire trust baby without the trust.
I don't know, I mean, that would make sense why Jimmy Olsen was part of the Batman video game elite.
That would make a lot more sense now.
Which still
It's
sucks.
still crap, but it...
Yes, every time they were reading about Jimmy Olsen, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, isn't your dad an explorer who looks just like you with a bad mustache? Like, what is going on? Like, my parents, I just want to know they're alive. They can have the money.
Now, in what is probably a proper reversal within Jeff Johns' character, Perry tries to hire Clark back, talking about, you did this blog shit. It's a fucking blog. Be a real goddamn journalist. Write for my paper again.
I love that. I love that Johns is trying to rebuild the mythos of Superman from the inside, and while not ignoring what people did before.
Right.
And he's like, look, you've always been antisocial. You could have gone out with Lois 8 times. Meanwhile, Clark's sitting there going, I'm fucking Wonder Woman. You understand this, right? I mean, Lois is a pretty woman. I get that, Perry. Very kind of you to think of me that way. I bang Wonder Woman. What do? You edit a newspaper. I bang Wonder Woman.
Ouch. Now, eventually some mystery object starts shooting up Metropolis, because you can't have a known quantity shooting up Metropolis, because that's just improper.
Well, it's Superman. I want fucking mystery objects. I don't want to see the shame.
See, I knew you'd react that way. That's why I handed it to you.
I'm like, yes, okay, weird science is flying by, shooting shit up, Superman's going to go punch it.
And
this is what I want, yes.
Except that Ulysses shows up, who is the parallel, other dimensional super baby
When you
guy.
know he's bad because he's wearing black and he's got long white hair.
Right.
No one cool has ever shown
done
up.
that.
All right, Iggy Pop is not a superhero icon. All right, if you're like, I'm going to be a superhero, I'm going to look like Iggy Pop, you're a bad guy. Get your shit together.
But he kind of hands Clark his ass a little bit.
Well, everyone, have you noticed, like, it's very hard to find people who can beat up Clark,
Right.
and when you do, they always do.
Yes.
Like, Clark always said, it's so hard for him to be the victim that when you have somebody who can hand him his ass, you got to beat the shit out of him.
Right.
Because normally it's like, we've got these space guns. No, I'm crushing those. I'm Superman, you're a dill hole. Enjoy your day.
I'm Superman, you're a dill hole. Enjoy your meal. Terrible, but funny. And, yeah. So that's the issue.
Yeah.
I liked it. I got the next one coming.
You know what?
Got the next
It
one
is a
after that
nice
coming.
change to Superman. They took a book and basically destroyed it in my eyes, and I'm hopeful. And I miss the Superman Lois Lane thing. Don't get me wrong. I loved classic Superman. All the corny shit I thought worked in one book, and I felt that was a loss to make him a bitter, fucking petulant child. Call me crazy. Oh, by the way, Shazam didn't need to be a dick either.
Well, if the Johns formula works out, he's going to be a dick for a little while here, too.
Yeah.
And then he'll figure it out, and everything will be all right.
But
And then we can just go back to Happy Clark.
That's what I want. Is a guy, the big blue Boy Scout is a positive thing.
It's a shame so many kids have no fucking idea that's not a bad, cliched horseshit thing to be.
True dat.
But we'll go into the failures of modern parenting right now.
No, that's for our other podcast. Why we're smarter than you.
Right. So I think it's time to say goodnight.
Good night.
To remind you once again that the first weekend of every month we will be announcing a random Twitter follower to receive a box of free comic books.
Free shit.
So if you're not following, make sure you do. You'll get some stuff.
And what are they supposed to be following?
At The Meaner Geek on Twitter. You can also contribute on Facebook if you want. You just dig us up there. All this crap is on our website. Why don't you just go?
Couldn't you,
TheMeanGeek.com.
at this point, couldn't you go, can you change your Twitter name? I'm not too up on it.
Yeah, if I wanted
You should
to.
be The Mean Geeks now to match the iTunes.
Not enough people even give a shit about us, particularly on iTunes, to bother with that.
I'm just saying for,
For uniformity's sake, it's not a bad idea. I will think about it. Other than that, good night.
Bless you, fracas!
And away.
The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeangeek.com, And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.